number 6 and 6.1, and this is the Deputy Chair, Margie Watson, from the Albert Eden Local Board in regards to the item we have at the last of our agenda, which is item 18, the indicative business case. So, Margie, if you're there, all yours. Maya will help you with the PowerPoint, and she'll run it from her end. So, Margie, tēnā koe, and nau mai haere mai.
Sorry, Chair, I can't see Margie online. Oh, yes, she is. She's just coming online now.
Ka pai.
I will put the PowerPoint up now.
Okay. Atamari,
Ah, Margie, yeah, look, I just introduced you, but look, you've just come online, so I'll just leave it to you. Maya will have your PowerPoint and she'll run it from her end. So, tēnā koe, Margie, nau mai haere mai.
Kia ora, Alf. Thank you. I had to come in off the live stream that was running, so sorry for the delay. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Ko Margie Watson aho, and thank you very much for the opportunity to present today, and so thank you to you, Chair Alf, and the committee. I do send greetings from the Albert Eden Local Board Chair, Lee Corrick, who is unfortunately unable to make it today due to a long-standing pre-arranged commitment, so she's asked me to present to you in her place. In this presentation, I will share the views of the Albert Eden Local Board on the report that we received in September 2021 for our comments, and it's in that capacity I present today. I would just like to note that I am the council appointed representative on the Mount Albert Grammar School Community Pool Trust, and I sit there, but today I present in terms of the local board. Look, I just for those that have read the report, I just wanted to respond to some matters that were in the IBC, and just a reminder about the structure of the facility. So a trust owns the pool facility. There is a licence to occupy with the Ministry of Education because the pool sits on school grounds, so that has rights of renewal through to around 2073. The trust have an agreement with council that they will, a supervisory agreement where they will oversee the management and R&M of the facility and fund CapEx of renewals. Auckland Council then contract Belgravia as a private operator to manage the facility on council's behalf. So quite a clumsy model set in place 23 years ago when the facility was built. But just noting it's a key part of the aquatic network for the city and is always considered as part of that network. There are some downsides to the model being a little bit clumsy because it's also not part of a council-owned facility. The free swimming to under 16s does not apply. Shall I continue? Yes? Okay.
Yep. Maya.
Yep. There's just a whole lot of noise at my end. Okay. So the under 16 swim free does not apply at this pool. So there's a charge for children to enter. So some of the benefits do not come through. Look, the IBC as it was presented was in response to some long-held concerns of the local community, the local board, over the last decade regarding provision and adequacy of the facility. The capacity is a major issue at the facility. If you read 3.3 of the report, you will see on average over 1,000 people are accessing the facility a day, and the capacity isn't there to actually meet the full demand currently. There are constraints given it's on a school site where we know that when it was first built they had 1,000 students. They're heading towards 3,000 and predicted to grow even further. So, and they've brought girls onto the site. It's now a co-ed school, so there's growth pressure there. and it's not fit for purpose. And what you'll see in the report is even on one of the pages there's a reference to the swimming lanes. You can have up to 7 swimmers in a swim lane because there is limited access. We have the school utilising the pool. We have Belgravia running swim programs. We have swim schools running swim programs, and there's limited access for others to use the pool. There is some capacity in the wave pool, which is the leisure component, but overall the facility is quite stretched. And council funds the work around it. Next slide, please. Is someone able to? Yeah, thank you. So we advocated and have it mentioned in our local board plans for several additions. We advocated in the LTP for funding to address the issues of this site, either an expansion or move to another site. We've funded the upgrade in 2015 to keep it ticking over for a longer period of time. But what is very clear in the IBC is the needs to be provision continue somewhere in Albert Eden. Next slide, please. So the recommended option, which is option 0 out of 4, didn't address any of the existing issues that we have on the site. It doesn't provide community access, it doesn't address the capacity, and it's based on the fact that the faux local pool will go ahead in 2029 and that'll mean the capacity is met on this facility for 4 years only, from 2029 to 2033. So over the next 30 years we're not meeting demand. The other is that we note that while we've advocated in the LTP and the IBC has come through with a BCR, that there are other projects that are also noted in the outer years of the LTP that score lower than this. So next slide, please. We have those capacity issues. What needs to happen is we need either to expand the current building and the pool on the site, or we need to move it to another site. The local board had considered and put up in the past 2 other options where it could go and look for, and still has, land in which the pool could be located, a new pool that was going to meet demand. There are driveway access issues because everyone has to drive through to access the main gates of Mount Albert Grammar School, where you have up to 3,000 people coming and going at bell times morning and afternoon. And it's a shared car park, although it's differentiated which is pool and which is school. And they've started placing school buildings on part of the car park to meet their capacity needs. We also note that the promoter score is fairly low, and while some people mention that in relation to operational issues like how clean they are, is that less people recommend the use of the pool than recommend the use of the pool. So we've got a facility we're funding to a high degree as council. We're not letting under 16s in, and we're not getting great feedback from the community. So I guess essentially that is my summary, and so for us as a local board, we rejected the IBC. We didn't think it met what we needed to see around provision on that site or in the Albert Eden area, which also supports other communities around it that aren't in the local board area. We note that there's recommendation E in your papers, which suggests doing some further work in 2029 should the faux pool not go ahead. We feel that further work needs to be progressed now rather than waiting another 8 years to find out whether that goes ahead, because we're still going to have that gap in the provision over the next 30 years. Happy to take any questions, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Margie, and sorry about the noise from your phone. Just to let everybody know, that was me sending you a text. So thank you so much. Look, I'm going to seek a mover and a seconder, and I'm looking at the two councillors for that area first before I open up
Yep.
for part-time.
Happy to, Alfie.
Yep, and Councillor Fletcher?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, so Maya, you've got our mover and seconder, and our first part-time is Councillor Casey. Margie?
Yeah, thanks, Alfie. I've got two questions for you, Margie. The first one is, could you talk a little bit about, this issue has been around in the local area for a very long time. Can you talk a little about community expectations of council at this stage? And the other question I have is, could you say a little about the Unitec development, which has gone under the radar, but is still trundling along to build another village next to Mount Albert?
Sure. Maybe to answer the second question first, is the development on what was the Unitec land, which has been administered as part of the Auckland housing program and partnered with Mana Whenua and MHUD sort of coordinating all that, is in progress. There will be up to 4,000 new dwellings on that Unitec piece of land. And what we do know is that potentially that could mean 10,000 new people moving into the neighbourhood. It is classified as Mount Albert, or wedged between Mount Albert and Point Chev. It's now known as the Carrington Precinct. And what I can tell you is that some of the groundworks are already underway. So housing will follow, but they're working on the road network and layout. They're starting construction of diversion of creeks and other matters. So that's underway, and what we know is the pressure it will create not only on community facilities, on local schools, on the roading network. So it's essentially a new suburb in Mount Albert, and those people will want recreation opportunities. Nothing I have seen shows that it includes a pool or other community facilities for that matter. There is some retail proposed. So that's an added pressure, and I'm not sure whether that was included in the IPC. The other is the community view is it's great to have a pool, but we continue to hear from the community when we go out and talk to them about it regarding capacity there. So the school want more access because it's on their school grounds, then that's quite logical. The community want access, they see it as a community pool. The swim school want to be able to teach more young children and adults aquatic skills, and they've got limited capacity. And we have programs like Green Prescription running there where people are trying to get active again, and those programs. And so there's a squeeze, and it's a real it's a squeeze on our facilities, and we need to be able to provide those facilities going forward. So there needs to be some forward planning, and just putting off to 2029 for further discussion doesn't really meet community need. Hope that helps.
Yeah, thanks, Margie.
Margie, there seems to be no more part-eye on our sidebar. So look, it's been moved and seconded. Just want to say thank you. Thank you for your advocacy and around that. And I've known that that advocacy has been for many, many years.
Mm.
Margie, ngā mihi ki a koe, thank you so much.
Kia ora.
It's been moved and seconded, so I'm going to put the...
Aye.
Against? Carried. Kia ora, Margie, thank you. Move extraordinary